Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to an audio commentary that Moletrap, will be doing alongside Diggity and Cholera. Yes, we are actually going to be doing a triple commentary. We haven't done one of these in a while, and very happy to be back in the Ventrilo booth with a couple fellow good commentators. We're going to be doing a match here from the All-Star game. You just saw their Luxury on the left and BeSt on the right. This is going to be a crazy, crazy matchup. Very much looking forward to this. Basically, the rematch of the season from last season. Luxury and BeSt having an absolutely epic best of 5 in the OSL semifinals, and it came down to the wire in most of the game. So looking forward to this. 3, 2, 1, and 0. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this game. Diggity, what do you think about how these players have been playing recently? Has anyone picked up their game or fallen off a little bit since those OSL semifinals?
You know, yeah, just about to bring that up. Luxury losing to BeSt. That was spoiler, by the way, if you guys didn't catch that. OSL final ended up having BeSt as opposed to Luxury. And I think if Luxury actually had won that game, I think he might have beaten July Zerg, just because his Zerg versus Zerg is very strong, and I think it's a little better than Luxury's. It looks like, speaking of that, BeSt is in the upper right-hand corner, and white bottom left-hand corner we have Luxury in orange. And really, that was just a huge match. I felt like Luxury outplayed BeSt, even like 1.5 games. He just had the games won and just let them go. And what I was expecting is for him to just fall off the wagon, like we see so many good players do, where they lose a big game and they just lose their confidence and then they just tank. But Luxury came right back in the Pro League finals and just played really well for OGN across the board. OGN didn't end up taking it, of course, but still, I can't put any blame on Luxury in that regard. On the opposite end, BeSt, I was expecting BeSt to kind of fall off the board, you know, just kind of tank as well, but he actually looked pretty well in most of the recent games I saw him playing, so I'm really excited to see both these players just jump right back in, and I think they're actually very strong contenders in the OSL, and I'm not sure if either of them contended for the MSL as well. My big worry is I know that Pro League is kind of switching its format to a best of 7, and I think that's going to Forge going up here for BeSt in the meantime. So it looks like he's sending out 2 scouting probes. Interestingly enough, he really wants to get a spot on Luxury. Luxury in the meantime is going to go for that standard 12 pool build, which interesting because most Zerg players these days have been kind of going an overpool build and then trying to deny the scout early and going quick hive. So it looks like he's going to go for more of a traditional game rather than kind of the Jaedong versus Protoss game as of late. Although Luxury's just been so powerful across the board versus Protoss, in my opinion, I just could not believe when he lost to BeSt. Anyway, but yeah, I'm glad that both these players are playing at a pretty high level, and I'm very excited to see not just this all-star match right here, but what's going to be happening in this upcoming season.
Definitely. I think I would definitely agree with you that both players have been playing up to form, and that if anything, the fact that BeSt lost to July has probably made him hungrier to get some revenge against the Zerg. He did beat July in sort of a show match afterwards on, I think it was Live Attack or Battle.net Attack or something, and that was, I think, partially due to July going for sort of a weird build and BeSt also going for a weird build. But in any case, I think part of the reason why on Colosseum Zergs are going to go for the 12 hatch and the double expand is because it's really hard for the Zerg to run by with, and their little pylon blocking the second expansion from Luxury. It's really hard for the Zergs to run by with Zerglings past that tiny choke point there that the Protoss can easily cannon in and then not have to worry about any Zergling run by for a while. However, statistically, this map actually favors Zerg in the Zerg versus Protoss matchup. I was actually just kind of surprised by seeing that. Zerg have won 6 games out of the 8 they've played against Protoss, so I think the fact that the Zerg can get up that third gas relatively easily is something that benefits Zerg much more than it benefits the Protoss. I also think the design of this map is such that the Zerg also find it fairly easy to defend, and I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna expect that BeSt is gonna go for Corsair Reaver as he did against Luxury quite well in those games, but we could see something different from him. We could certainly see possibly Corsair Dark Templar, but I'm going to guess it's going to be Corsair Reaver here as the opening, and that Luxury is probably going to play a more macro style, probably going to get those Hydralisks out early and try to get some harassment out. And by the way, yeah, I agree that Luxury has done really well recently. I think he qualified for at least one of the Star Leagues. I believe I cast a game just with him very recently in the Star Leagues. Not going to go back and check though. Anyway, so just talking about the Pro League All-Stars, in case this is the first game you've played, basically there have been 2 teams that have been formed out of some of the best and most interesting players from the Pro League from last season. Those are Team Passion and Team Challenge. And here we have Luxury, among other players like Nada and C and Midas and Dazang and whatnot, playing for Passion, and BeSt is playing for Challenge. And on his team, there's players like Jangbi and Flash and Firebat Hero. But anyway, so here we're seeing a bunch of Zerglings in the front here. Luxury's not going to have any luck denying a scout, though. The fact that he opted for the 12 hatch usually means that the Zerg player will have to wait for a long time before they can get rid of the scouting probe. And another note about the All-Star matches is that, well, first off, you do have players from all teams playing against each other, so there's definitely not the, especially for the 2v2s, there's not the element of practice. And also, it's generally a more casual format. You know, players are allowed to chat in-game. They often go for funny builds. But in this matchup, I actually expect it to be quite serious, though, because Luxury and BeSt might have a little bit of a rivalry, and certainly Luxury would like to get some revenge. So we'll see if he manages to get it in this game.
Yeah, I do think this is probably going to be one of the more serious matches in this. I know a lot of the matches that they pick for the All-Star game tend to be like rematches that everyone wants to see, or just play matches that didn't get to happen in the last season of Pro League that everyone wants to see, and that's why we're seeing these rematches between really big play. You know, the first game, which I haven't actually seen yet, Jangbi versus Nada, was kind of a rematch of a really big game where Jangbi's famous for his perfect storm, pimp his play, destruction of Nada's army, for instance,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And then Flash versus Jadong is going to be Game 7, and that is obviously one of the big rivalries in StarCraft in general. So we got a Templar Archives going up, and some Corsairs being produced. So it looks like we are going to see, actually, at least at first, we're going to see some sort of Sarah DT build going on here. And a lot of Zerglings, speed upgraded Zerglings moving in here. Yeah, along the lines of the BeSt build. A lot of Zerglings coming in here. They're trying to get a surround on that Dragoon, try and get by there, but Luxury realizes that it wasn't really going to be fruitful and pulls out at the last moment there. But he does have that Spire up, and so it'll be interesting to see what he's going to do with that. We've seen a lot of Zergs have a lot of success recently getting that quick Spire before they even get a Hydralisk Den, which is what Luxury has done, and getting Scourges in the air very quickly. Scourges not too effective against... Oh, and he loses that. It looks like he's going to lose that Corsair. The first Corsair goes down. That is absolutely crucial here. The thing that you want to do in as a Protoss player is you want to build up your Corsairs, because once you get several Corsairs, you can handle any amount of air. But taking out that first Corsair makes it so it's so difficult to build up. And now he's desperately building cannons in both of his bases because he's expecting a Mutalisk rush here, and that is exactly what's coming after him. He's going to run Zerglings in the front door. He's got, looks like, 6 Mutalisks rallying to the front door. He's going to try and go in and do some harassment. The cannons may be just coming in, though. Actually, he may even decide to go straight in the front door. It depends on where he decides to attack. And at this point, BeSt's defenses are divided up amongst his 3 different locations: his choke point, his main, and his secondary. And now here he comes in, the Mutalisk targeting the cannon, and it looks like they're going to easily take down the cannon. The Archons are not there in time. It looks like Luxury is actually going to break BeSt's front door here. He just does not have the units to cope with this right now.
Wow, that was absolutely brilliant. Luxury getting a little cute, trying to hide that Spire at his 3rd expansion where Luxury wouldn't see, or where BeSt wouldn't see it. BeSt, I don't think saw it. He didn't put down that second star yet. I don't know if he really needed to that second, but right now he just does not have the troops on the ground. He's still managed to fight this off, but I think Luxury is going to be able to bring some reinforcements up. In the meantime, there's no cannons to defend that front door. That Archon, even though very, very deadly against those Mutalisks, still can pound away. They can still pound away at a distance, come back and just be annoying on that front door. In the meantime, a Hydralisk Den is up, so Luxury can easily transition away from Mutalisks if he desires to. I'm surprised that he went for the 2 Scorch getting absolutely annihilated there by a nice energy ball. But now you can see a lot more Zealots on the ground. Just that single Archon just getting whittled down by these Mutalisks. Oh, getting caught right there. Can't survive a lot of hits like that. And it looks like they're going to try to go in and take on... Wow, more Mutalisks coming up to support, so we're not seeing any Hydralisks in support. Going to try to keep that front door down. But in the meantime, a lot of Zealots on the ground. We'll see. Luxury needs to be careful, because this is very reminiscent of the game where BeSt is getting a decent good-sized army up. I'm hoping that Luxury has something to deal with all the... Oh, man. Templar getting picked off in the background. I got to give a huge advantage to Luxury, but I'm not sure if he has something to fight off these Zealots here in the meantime. I've got to hope that he's going to have to draw these Mulisks back to take care of it. I was wondering if he's going to get a little bit too crazy and just force the attack there. He's going to have to produce some Zerg and some Mulisks. Very clever maneuver here by BeSt to at least give him a moment of reprieve here. Actually, I take it back. Some Mulisks are staying inside, and there's Hydralisks as well. I got to say this game has gone to Luxury. Dark Templar out in the meantime. This is what I'm worried about, though, is that Spire at that third location. Looks like a Sun Colony was up at that location. I was worried if that Spire got taken out that would really be a big setback for Luxury, but I don't think that's going to happen. And honestly, I don't think this single Corsair is going to save BeSt from Luxury's wrath here.
Yeah, there is a DT though inside of Luxury's base, and I have to say BeSt is doing a great job here with his speed lot rush here. I guess that was his original intention, his original plan before the Spire went up, and unfortunately for him, it really hasn't worked out. But this time he's actually managed to pick off a good number of all the Hydralisks are actually going down, and Zealots are still wandering around, fighting inside of Luxury's base. There's the DT going down, but the problem is though Luxury doesn't have any forces, so the Zealots are gonna be just pounding away at the drones. Meanwhile, BeSt once again has put down more cannons inside of his base, and for some reason Luxury has only 1 or 2 Mulisks attacking here, and these Zealots of BeSt have done an inordinate amount of damage inside Luxury's base. I know there were something like 12 Zealots there, but still, I feel that BeSt could have microed it a little bit better. Perhaps it was because it was microing on 2 fronts. The Spire has gone down, so the Spire has gone down for Luxury, and I think BeSt may have fought himself back into the game with his last-minute charges. What you usually would call a desperation attack when you're losing the game and you're sending all your forces into the base. There's more Zealots inside the main base of Luxury, and I'm not sure how many drones Luxury has left. This is absolutely crazy here. BeSt once again might be able to fight himself back into this game, and how embarrassing, how humiliating will it be for Luxury to come so close to victory and then to lose the game. But BeSt has done great with those Zealots. I mean, really, yes, it reminds me so much, Diggity, of that game played on Troy when Luxury had the assimilators of in front of BeSt base down, and BeSt still managed to win by doing a Zealot drop. All the drones are dead inside of Luxury's base. It's absolutely bonkers, absolutely insane. I have no idea how he's managed to kill almost every single drone that Luxury owns. I mean, just really, I think Luxury should have cut his losses. He should have just sent those Mutalisks back to defend his base instead of trying to just stick on the attack, because, oh, this is just not good. That one Zealot just picking off so many drones. You see the coaches on both sides are just laughing. Oh, this is just absolute slaughter here. And maybe Luxury just can't handle winning against BeSt. I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't mean to criticize you, but I think bonkers may be a bit of an understatement in this situation. This has been insane, and yes, BeSt. I've said it before, and I think the reason why Luxury gave this game up is he just doesn't have that good of multitasking. He's got really good skills. He's one of the top Zerg players around, and there's the GG coming from Luxury. He's got incredibly good skills, but he just does not have the multitasking to be at that top S-class level. And that is what failed him here. He was trying to micro on the front, and he just completely lost track of his main base and was not protecting his drones at all. And those few Zealots just came and ran in there and just destroyed all of his drones and tech buildings. And it turned into one of my favorite types of games for a minute there, the kind where both players are just trying to destroy the other one's base fastest. I love that scenario a lot, but BeSt just did a better job of it, and Luxury just could not handle the pressure, could not pay attention to his own base and BeSt's front door at the same time, and gave up both battles, I think.
I was about to say is I felt like Luxury was being a little too greedy there, leaving those Mutalisks in instead of drawing them back to help deal with those Zealots. And when I saw the additional Mutalisks being spawned, what I thought Luxury was going to do was just transition his drones between his expansions and try to keep them alive that way, and then just hammer at them from the Mutalisks that he had on the ground in the meantime, or create some Zerglings or something, a little bit of a blockade. And I was very much worried about that Spire, because essentially it doesn't matter how you're transferring your drones if he was just going after the Spire, but I thought maybe he had enough troops on the ground, if they were going after that Spire, if that Sun Colony in place, he'd be able to take care of it, but obviously not. Yeah, his multitasking just failing him at that stage, at that point, and just BeSt coming right back in it. I just really I have to say, where BeSt has been so successful in his matchup against Luxury is exploiting Luxury's greediness. Luxury is getting greedy in these matches, and instead of just closing them out, and as a result, BeSt is just hammering him and taking victory after victory from him. Whereas Luxury, I think overall, has been playing, I don't know, slightly better StarCraft, especially in that OSL. BeSt deserves it because just knowing his opponent, and that's what it comes down to. And wow, that was unbelievable. That was an incredible comeback. It doesn't really get much better than that. Truly an all-star match.
Yeah, I have to say, I think BeSt borrowed some of these manlots from Reach, because those were some of the manliest zealots I've ever seen. I mean, something like a dozen speedlots just ate Luxury's base up. It took him from having the entire front door down to, GGing about 2 minutes later. So I do think it was more Luxury's fault necessarily than BeSt's awesome play, but it's interesting that Colosseum in Zerg versus Protoss also beats a lot of times to these sort of back and forth exchanges. It reminds me a lot of a game I actually casted where it was the same thing. I went Mulisks and I almost got owned by speedlots, and while I was killing the opponent's base. So maybe it's something about that map. But anyway, what an exciting game, and a great exciting start to our triple commentary, at least, of the Proleague games.
Yeah, I do want to hand it to BeSt a little bit though that he did. I mean, he barely got everything out in time. He reacted very quickly. He got those Archons out. I think those couple Archons in the beginning were what basically saved him, because otherwise those Mutalisks would have gone after his probes. But he was able to distract Luxury long enough to keep his probe limes from failing or anything like that. So you got to hand it to him. As soon as that Corsair saw that Spire, he was getting out Archons and he was putting up cannons. And that quick thinking, I think, is what got him enough leeway to do that counterattack in the first place. So I don't know. Unless there's any thoughts on that, I think we're going to call that GG and we're going to move on.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Thanks for listening.
야, 같이 뭐 끝나고 이렇게 뭐 그 얘기도 하고 했습니다만은 프로토스에 대한 한이 정말 한 10년 묵힌 분이